Welcome back to another Married at First Sight Season 20 review recap. And baby, let's point out some red flags if there's any. Let's point out the good things about the couples. We're going to point it all out, okay? And we're going to talk about it today. And I want to hear your perspective too down in the comment section. Now, how I do it on this channel, at least at this moment, is that I watched all the episodes and then I went back to the beginning to see what were there any red flags that we missed or that we did see and we didn't call out. Is it something that the matchmakers missed out on that they should have noticed before they hooked these folks up? you know all of the couples are here today. Welcome them to the show. And so we're going to be breaking down the couples and everything, as we go. Not really per se by episodes, because as you know, it comes out on Thursdays. They drop about 3 episodes per drop. And so, but I'm eventually going to catch everybody up to that. But we're going to go back to the beginning. And today we're going to be talking with Mr. Devin and Mrs. Caitlin. Now, if you know, Devin is 27 years old. He is a professional rugby player. And Miss Caitlin, she's 28. She is a social media marketer. Now, when it comes to Devin, him being a professional player, this is my first time knowing that there were even professional rugby players out there, baby. I don't know, not one. And matter of fact, I don't even know how the game goes. Okay, because I thought rugby was played on horses, but baby, don't ignore me. And so, but Caitlin, she wanted a professional player. Now, baby, Caitlin thought she was getting a football player, but instead she got a rugby player. I mean, I guess, baby, I guess it's the same, somewhat. Kind of sort of different, baby, if you will. But either way, Devin, he's a handsome young man. Okay, only thing that I could say was a red flag to me with Devin is his haircut. It's like, Devin, what is that? A mohawk slash mullet slash high top fade? Baby, I don't know what it was with the frosty tips. But one thing about that haircut, baby, it may be a weird one, but he keeps it blown out straight, baby, and flipped. Okay, baby, he keep those flips, those layers, layering in that haircut, baby. So we're gonna have to give that to Devin. Now, Miss Caitlin, now when she met with the people, she wanted a professional, player, maybe somebody that's sexy, got a little money. That's what I assume when somebody say I want a professional player. Now we start off with Devin, and we go back, and Devin said he wants a woman to paddleboard, to climb mountains, and to hike with. It's like, Devin, do you want a whole man? Because I wonder about these men sometimes, because they always requesting women to do manly things. And I get it. They saying I like doing this on my spare time, so I want somebody to enjoy doing this with me. But that's for your bros, okay? Why you want a girl over there climbing mountains and doing stuff like that? You want her to have a big back? I mean, I'm just asking for a friend. But he also wants a woman to work remote so that she can move around with him. Like if he had to go play in out of country or overseas somewhere, I guess he want her to be able to go with him. And so that's what he's requesting. He also said that he has a crush on Miss Sydney Sweeney. He says she has dreamy eyes. Sydney got those sleepy like eyes that look like she kind of high, maybe a little drunk, maybe just woke up. But the guys said they like that. And so he said that's what he wants. And just so happened, Caitlin sort of kind of, if you squint, turn to the side, she kind of looks like Sydney. She just got darker hair than Sydney. But when they first showed her, she did kind of sort of have those kind of eyes that he was requesting. But girl, as we got to know Caitlin, baby, them eyes changed, okay? They changed up on us. But either way, he said that he let out saying that he was born with a teenage mother and he had an absent father. So he came from a broken home. He came from a mother who was young, underage, So, when you have a young mother, she may not be the ultimate mother, but again, she can only do what she know and what she know how and how, you know. And so he may not have the perfect upbringing for him to lead with that. But he's just saying that he don't want to be judged for that as well. He can't help it. That's what he was born into, baby. And he said that his dad was toxic, but he said that he wants better for himself. So the first thing that I did notice that when he led out with that, he has a sweetheart from initially, but there are some abandonment issues. You got a toxic father. Do you really want that toxic man in the house, baby? You be happy that he done left, but at the same time, that does leave a hole in your heart. That leaves you with abandonment issues. Now, Miss Caitlin comes on the scene, and she works remote, which is awesome because that's what Devin wants. So she'll be able to travel and move around with him. But she may work remote when it comes to her social media job, but she's also an instructor. We can see her over there getting busy leading a class when it comes to cycling. She's a cycling instructor, and she was over there getting it, okay? And she looked very cute on her cycling bike. You can tell that's her element, that's her passion, and so that brought out the best look in her. She's also a makeup artist, which means Caitlin over there hustling just like Belle Jolie. She over there hustling, trying to make money, trying to make ends meet. She also says she wants someone that's big and strong, that's somewhat like a football player. Well, he plays rugby. I hope she, can work with that, 'cause that's all they got. They don't have no football players in there. But she also let it be known that she has been in toxic relationships. Okay, another red flag. Again, I mean, you somewhat can't help who you love. You get in a relationship. I wish that women knew how to, when they first see a red flag in a toxic relationship, to run for the hills, but that's usually not how it happens. So you end up having that toxic relationship, and you have to go through it to kind of jump loose from it, and then that's sad. By the time you jump loose from it, baby, it's all in you. It's all on you. But here comes the wedding day. So they go and they get married. Caitlyn Dads is not happy with the marriage at all because he said that he didn't agree to give her away. He don't know Devin. And so, but he said that he does trust his daughter's decision. Now, he didn't say that at first, girl. He said that at the reception. But the thing about it is, he said that he wasn't going to walk her down the aisle, but he said that he was going to go to the wedding. And baby, that he could have stayed at home the way he was acting. But, Caitlyn was just happy to have a father there, and I think that was kind of selfish for him to say he wasn't going to walk her down the aisle, because if you trust her decision, how dare you come to the wedding and then not do your duty? Still, as a father, that's just like saying, "I told you not to get in a relationship with this guy," but then when you realize your daughter in a toxic relationship, are you still not going to come and protect her or help her or help guide her? So you should have did the same thing when it came to her, walking her down the aisle. It wouldn't have hurt you to guide your daughter down the aisle, just to be a stand on a solid foundation, to let Devin know she is not here alone. She has a father who loves her and supports her and trusts her decision. And I will be standing beside my daughter every bit of the way if she needs me, with your because you're a stranger to us. I just feel like he should have did that, but he didn't. But he did walk in, baby, with attitude. He walked in clowning people, baby. He walked in doing teen too much, just like Mecca's father. So he made sure his presence was definitely seen and known. Now, Devin, he was greeted by his great grandmother, a sweet little soul, and his mother who supports him. His mother did walk him down the aisle, regardless of whatever. He had a mother who was there to support him. Caitlyn dad again came straight in the reception. I mean the wedding, walking down the aisle, talking crap about everybody. He was calling folks drunk, even though he was the one who was acting drunk. He threatened to punch folks in the face. It's like, for what? Nobody even said nothing to you. And he also was mean mugging Devin. And so Caitlyn walked herself down the aisle instead of her father, because he was busy doing other things that he shouldn't have been doing. That let me know right there off top that she's independent and that she really did not have the real support that she needed. Now, yes, was her family there? They were there. Yes, her father was there. But like I said, he didn't set a foundation with her to the point that he was like, "I'm going to walk you down the aisle." He didn't. So she came down independent by herself, and most of the guys didn't even come down the aisle independent by themselves. So that lets us know right now that Caitlyn is an independent woman, which is nothing wrong with that. But it shows up in her marriage right now. That's why her and Devin are having issues with connecting, because she's so independent. She like her free time. She like her alone time. And and so I asked the question, like, Caitlyn, why did you come to Married at First Sight if you knew that you did not like being in a couple? You did not like being around other people all the time. And she said her friends are the same way. And when you meet them, you can tell that they a bunch of, I wouldn't say misfits, but they didn't seem like a collective group, but they all had this attitude, this independent, oh, I need my alone time, I don't like people type of attitude. And I said, okay, now I see where she get it from. And so Caitlyn dad stood up looking mad, looking angry. We didn't ask him to stand up at all. And then he said, this is my baby. He said, it's super hard to give her away. Well, you didn't give her away, sir. You let her walk down by herself. She was independently walking down the aisle by herself. And you stood there mean mucking, looking angry, looking like you've been drinking tequila and liquor all night. Now, I don't know if he did or not. He just looked like it. And so he said, it's super hard to give her away. He said, but I trust her so much, and I hope that this turns out to be amazing. Well, and then everybody's like, oh, giving him applause and happy that he stood up and did that. But it's like, girl, did y'all not hear what he was doing and saying the whole time? So I'm glad that he finally came around. After he made that speech, he did come around, even though he only knew Devin for probably 45 more minutes. So I guess all it took was 45 minutes for him to lighten up. Or maybe he had got hold of some tequila, baby, and some liquor, some vodka, or some of that Hennessy. I don't know. But either way, Devin and Kaitlyn was acting like homeboys during the whole wedding. That's what I noticed. They were acting like homies, like bros. It's like they knew the bro code. So Devin, he asked for somebody who was gonna be climbing mountains, baby, climbing rocks and jumping over hills and valleys. So he got that when it came to Kaitlyn. But the thing about it, they were smiling, laughing. Um, and then the crowd was also very much supportive and happy. She wasn't too comfortable with eye contact when it came to Devin. And I think that's also playing a role in their relationship right now because she barely looked at the boy. And I think that's her own insecurity. I think that's her own inner being that's not allowing her to do so. I know a lot of people don't who are not comfortable with the eye contact type of thing. Now I did notice that when he did the Harry Potter party for her, she was giving him more eye contact because you can tell that he put forth a lot of effort to get to know her. He was listening to her, and he gave her her so-called ideal date, at home. And so she was lighting up, and she was happy to be around him. Still, I didn't see a lot of affection, like hugging or touching. But they were very much happy. You can tell it was a genuine moment for them. And I was happy for that for them because you can definitely see Devin is really trying. You could tell that Devin likes her, and he don't want to abandon the situation. Now Devin got his down points too because he'll drink that beer, baby. He'll get a little alcohol in his system, and he get all big at the chest, and he started bothering folks, honey. He was over there bothering Courtney, and Courtney was like, "Kaitlyn, come get your man." And Kaitlyn came and so-called got a man, but not really got her man. She was still on Courtney's side. She was like, "Devin, I don't know you like that." Devin like, "Whose side you on?" He's just like, "Baby, I don't even know you like that, so I can't be on your side." It's like, well, girl, you don't know Courtney either. You know Devin more than you know Courtney. I mean, you met them around the same time, so you don't really know neither one of them. But you chose Courtney's side, where she really didn't choose anybody's side. She just didn't jump straight on Devin's side. And she said Devin been drinking, and when they got home, he was over there talking to her, kind of like blocking the door while she was folding clothes, and she was just uninterested in him. But the very next day, they got up and they was talking, and they seemed like they forgave the night before because she realized that Devin had just had too many beers, baby, too many Coronas or that English beer, and so she understood and she moved on from the situation. Now, when it came to after they finally, said you. We now pronounce you man and wife. They kissed officially, so they made the wedding, they made the marriage, everything official with a kiss. It was a nice kiss. Afterwards, you can see Caitlyn said that she felt the chemistry and she was very much attracted to him because he was very athletic. So her words say that she was attracted to him. Now, that could also lead me to feel that the reason why she is kind of shy around him and stuff like that, that she is attractive, but she may not be that type of girl that when she's attracted to you, she probably is a little more shy, and therefore it will come across as awkward. It will come across as she's being standoffish when really she just awkward and don't know what to do. And so I think that's what Devin is picking up on. But he see it as, oh, you're not attracted to me because Devin said, honey, with these highlights and these flips back here, these layers being flipped in this mohawk, baby, you don't give me no compliments. She's like, he said, you don't touch him, you don't rub on him, you don't do none of that stuff. He's not even saying that he want to lay down with her like that. He said, he know that's not in the picture right now. He said, but he's just looking for a little more affection. And I just feel like she's just very awkward when it comes to that type of stuff. And then when you call her out on it, she gets defensive because she take an independent stance. Now, Devin said that he loved her beautiful eyes. Of course, I knew he would because, again, his crush was Sydney. He said that she the kind to run into. He said that she looked like the kind that would run into the woods with him and have a good time with him. It's like, ooh, okay. All right, honey. So that's for them right now. Next, we're gonna move on to old Courtney, baby, and Courtney. I mean, Nick and Courtney, honey. Now, Courtney, baby, Courtney came in there with Jack, huh, and her mama. Jack like some Australian outback kangaroos, baby. They came in like they were ready to box, baby, throw these hands, do everything. And I'm just going by how they back and they shoulder were looking. Okay, you can tell they in the gym every day, all day, 2 or 3 times a day, baby. And I ain't no way women as little as they are can get those type of muscles without some type of substance or something. Now I ain't saying, I ain't accusing them of nothing, but I'm just saying that is not a natural type of build. That's a build that you have to use some type of substance to gain, and the people noticed that. Now she said that Courtney did start off saying that she don't want a bodybuilder, even though she bodybuilding herself. She don't want a bodybuilder. She does want somebody who plays sports, that's more political, more on a liberal stance. Okay, she said that she's afraid that no one would ever love her, and the reason why she says that because she's been in toxic relationships, and the thing about her toxic relationships is that she stayed in them and she dealt with it. Let's say she had a boyfriend who cheated on her. She will allow him to cheat just so she can stay with him. If he was verbally abusive, she would allow him to be that so that she could stay with him. That's what I picked up with her. So it seemed like there's a certain type of guy that she's willing to put up with everything from versus Nick. Nick do not fit that caliber of man, which is a good thing because Nick came across as a good guy. Now, Nick grew up playing lacrosse in college. Now, again, her and Caitlin, they wanted men that played football, the typical type of sports, but instead they got lacrosse players and they got rugby players. I mean, girl, that's a sport is a sport, baby. That's y'all type of sport over there on y'all side of town, is it not? But either way, he grew up playing lacrosse. And again, I don't know if lacrosse is what I was describing when it came to rugby. Don't they play that on a horse or they hit the little balls? It's like golf, but on a horse. Baby, I don't know, baby. But either way it go, Nick said he's not religious. He said he's lonely. And he led with his celebrity status that he was on this TV show called The Perfect Match. Matter of fact, he was on multiple TV shows, and he just led with that. He just kept on telling you, I was on this show, I was doing this, and then he started to say, "Well, I don't want anybody to love me or be with me because I was on those shows." Okay, well then stop talking about them. Baby, we don't know nothing about those shows. Baby, we don't. Baby, I could walk past Nick right now, would not know who he was. He ain't Nick Cannon. Baby, who Nick? What Nick do you think you are, Nick? Baby, you just the basic Nick. You the regular Nick. Okay. I probably walk past Nick Cannon, still wouldn't know him. But either way it go, I felt like the matchmakers got this wrong when it comes to these two because they're not really a great match. Okay, you try to match them because of political stance when they political stance was was wobbly. Like she was conservative but with liberal stance. He said the same thing, but then you ask for examples of what are you talking about with either one. They couldn't give examples. It just didn't make any sense to me. And so why did you match those two together? I don't understand, but they got matched together either way. Now, from the looks of things, your girl, if Courtney covered up those muscles, baby, which she didn't on the wedding, baby, she had them all out on display. She covered up those kangaroo muscles, and Nick standing there with his tux on, they did make a cute couple. I mean, I thought they was cute, but baby, but once Courtney got hold of that man behind closed doors, baby, I was so sad for Nick. Baby, I want to call a CPS on him. I want to call Child Protective Services on Courtney for what she was doing to Nick. But Nick was a grown man, so I couldn't dial the number, baby. But either way, on the wedding day, Nick friends started out talking about all the shows he was on again. There go his friends. He talk about the shows. The friends talk about the shows. He said he met his best friend on the show. So all of his friends and people that was in his room supporting him were all cast members. They was all paid actors on reality shows. They were all D-list celebrities, and they was proud of it, baby. Baby, they stood 10 toes down on it. So I'm like, okay, go ahead. That's your claim to fame. Friends asked, did you prepare questions to ask her dad? Nick was like, no, I just want to be authentic. Nick, I don't know if you got an authentic bone in your body. And Courtney called you out on that, baby. We just want to know where is the authentic? Is it in the room with us, Nick? Is it in the room with you? Baby, is it in the room with you and your friends? And the answer was no, and baby, it wasn't. But he did say he wanted to be authentic, and I guess that's cute and all. But his friend said, well, I kind of would have prepared a little bit. Yeah, you would have prepared because number one, you guys are scripted, baby. Y'all scripted friends. So it would make sense for you guys to prepare. But at the same time, I get what they're saying. They're saying, this is an important time. You just not meeting the daughter. When you talk to the father, you just want to have something prepared to say because you don't know them. You don't have a foundation or a background to go by. So it would have been nice to prepare to show your seriousness. But Nick's just sat there, smiled, baby, and just was like, no, yeah, I didn't prepare nothing. So okay. So Courtney is dressed in her wedding dress when her family walks in. Her mom and Courtney muscles are popping, baby. They pump, baby. They had just, baby, either they just left the gym, but them muscles was pumping. And Courtney looked very masculine in her dress. She just did. She looked like a masculine, again, kangaroo. Nothing against her looks or anything. If you ever seen a kangaroo body, baby, that's just how she looked. And she looked very masculine. Her father walked in, very handsome man, and she cries when she sees her father. And her father had on a tuxedo, so you couldn't see his muscles, but you can still tell that he ain't as pumped as the mother and Courtney. And the mother was, she didn't say nothing, baby. She let her muscles speak louder than any word that she could have said. So her mother was just over there overly jacked. So mom walked down the aisle. Someone yells, she's jacked. I just cracked up laughing because they couldn't help but to notice that the muscles was popping. Okay, muscles on top of muscles, baby. Neck muscles, shoulder muscles, tricep, biceps, baby. All the muscles were showing in those dresses. And so, they take a lot of dedication to do that. So I give it up to them. But it's like, girl, y'all need to take a day off. Take a few days off at the gym, okay? That's all I'm asking. Now, when they first meet each other, they go down the aisle. It was all smiles. Nick was like, oh my God, OMG. Courtney was like, you look great. Lots of jokes and quick kiss. They did a quick kiss. So they did a lot of jokes and stuff like that at the ceremony, which already let me know you guys are not taking this seriously for real. Nothing is this funny. Okay. It was all like a scripted show without the script. It just wasn't, yeah, yeah, they didn't take it serious if you ask me. And they did, but they did do a quick little kiss, whatever. Now, Nick is still leading with his reality show. After everything is over and done with, he goes straight to Courtney and still talking about his reality show. Courtney, you could tell she does not watch no TV, baby. She be in the gym 24/7. And so if it ain't coming on the gym monitor, baby, Courtney ain't seeing it. So she didn't know what he was talking about at all. Nothing. They was talking about him being on gay shows, that he met his gay best friend on a catfishing show. So he been on all the shows. And so that kind of sent a red flag up when it comes to Nick, because again, we don't know nothing substantial about Nick. All we know is about these shows that he's on, and he's leading with these shows. So we thinking, are you on this show just for clout, just for fame, because you probably being a D-lister, and it's given that because the only time Nick show his personality is when he's hating on the other men. Now, when Adam was describing his life and his lifestyle and playing the piano, baby, Nick was hating hard. You hear me? He wouldn't even stop. So that's the only time you really see Nick being authentic. But either way it go, Courtney don't have a clue what he talking about. She just like, what do they have to do with anything? Okay, what do they have to do with the cost of living? This reality show you're talking about. So he's been on drag shows. He got gay best friends. He's been another red flag went up. It's like, Nick, are you not on the spectrum, babe, but are you nothing wrong with having a best friend like that. I'm nothing against that, okay? But I just wonder, is that something that he is he into that? Is he into that? Have he ever dated a man? I just want to know. Have he ever dated a man? If so, it's good that women need to know that. Women be want to know, okay? Some women don't care. Also, now with them, the latest episode, they were asked, okay, do you guys want to stay married? And the reason why they asked that, because every time they show an episode of Courtney and Nick, they are arguing. Courtney is ignoring Nick. And then when they have a group session, when they go and they finally have a group session with everybody, um, they seem cool somewhat, but she'll say, this is what I see when I see them. Courtney will come out and she'll explain that her toxic relationships, it'll make her cry. She'll be talking about what she went through in all her relationships. But then when it comes to Nick, when it's time for him to talk, he'll just sit there. He won't open up about nothing. And I get why that would frustrate Courtney. It's like, baby, I just opened up to you about what I'm going through, and you haven't opened up to me about anything. So he really hasn't. And then when he do open up about something, it was like, Nick, that ain't nothing to open up about. That ain't really that deep. He just act like he got the perfect life or something. And then, so, but on the latest episode, Courtney asked him, like, Nick, you still not opening up. You're not telling me anything about you. And she said, I feel like I'm to blame for you being shut down. So, if you want to open up now, you can. And Nick was like, yeah. He said, when I try to open up and say things, because I'm a little awkward, I'm a little goofy. He said, but you'll shut me down and then you'll make me feel a certain type of way. And then she was looking at him like, what are you talking about? And then so the cameras flashed back to a time that he was driving or something, and I guess he made a mistake. And he said that for a whole week she kept on talking about it, degrading him, making him feel bad about it. So he said that he, don't want to open up because he don't want to be ridiculed by her. And then she said, "What the f are you talking about? What do you mean? What are you crazy? Are you serious?" F bombs being dropped everywhere. I'm like, Courtney, calm down, okay, calm down, Miss Kangaroo. That's what he talking about right there, baby. That is what he talking about. And girl, I almost picked up the phone again and called CPS, and I realized Nick grown. Baby, maybe I need to pick up the phone, dial 911, because Nick needed help, and he shut down immediately again, and she just cussed him out. And then she went on back to curling her hair, baby. Now one thing she gonna do is keep them extensions curled up, baby. And when she curled, I'm like, Courtney, how that's gonna look at the end? Cause I'll be so confused. But then by the time she get done with the finished product, I'm like, okay, Courtney, that's cute, baby, that's cute. I just had to trust the process when it came to her hair. But either way, she shut him down, cussed him out again. So then when it goes back over to the group session, she brought it up again. She was like, he's not opening up to me because I feel like I shut him down. And then he tried to open up again, baby, just for her to go right back over there, baby, and cuss the man back out again, dropped a bunch of F bombs on the guy right there in front of the doctors, okay? And then the matchmakers was like, you know what, Courtney? You know what, baby, do y'all want to stay married? Do y'all want to end it today? Baby, we ain't gonna even give you tomorrow. We ain't gonna give you to next week. Do y'all want to end it today? And and so Courtney and Nick was like, Nick, of course, was like, if I could stay and learn more about myself and grow in the process, because remember, they ain't got number 14 more days left. And he like, I grow in the process, then, I'll stay. In other words, Nick saying, if I can just stay a little longer to the end and get my clout, my full clout, get my full credit, for my show, for being on this show, go ahead and get listed up higher on my D list celebrity list, I'll stay. That's what I heard him say. But Courtney was like, you selfish MFer. It's just all about you. Everything is all about you. And then the matchmakers, baby, the matchmaker was stunned. They was like, okay, again, okay, because the episode ended. Then they started to back off with the new episode. They're like, baby, are y'all gonna end this today or what? What's going on? Okay, because we can't let Nick keep on getting abused like that by you, Courtney. And then so Courtney was like, yeah, yeah. She looked at him. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end it. We're gonna end it tonight. And then so Nick was like, okay, yeah. He followed her lead. Yeah, we'll end it tonight. I'm sure he asked at the end to the matchmakers, am I still gonna get my credit for being on the show? That's all Nick wanted to know. And so I'm sure he's gonna get his credit. You know, he stayed long enough to go ahead and get that little credit. So we'll go ahead and give that to him. That's the least we can give him since he put up with so much abuse. And then he, at the end of the show, or the end of their session, they had to hug their little, little friends. Go ahead and hug y'all little friends, baby, because y'all ain't gonna see them no more. And then so Courtney went and hugged the doctor, Dr. Lisa, and Dr. Lisa gave her a kiss and held her real tight. She was like, 'cause Courtney needed a hug because the last hug she probably got from her mama, baby, was a tough hug, baby, because muscle on muscle ain't that soft. So she really did need that soft hug from Dr. Lisa, which she appreciated. And so they went out, they talked about it. Nick was just saying, he's like, I appreciate the journey that we was on, and he was like, I'm really gonna miss the situation or whatever he said. And then he started tearing up. And then she's like, oh, now you're gonna miss the situation? Oh, now you're gonna tear up? Oh, now you care? So the tears went right back in his eyes, baby. They went right back in the ear, in the tear ducts. And he started looking at her because again he had to have his guard up because the kangaroo about to start punching and boxing. And so she was like, "Oh, now you care." And it's like, Courtney, no, what he's saying is he really wanted to stay to get those credits, those official credits, baby. That's all he really wanted. He was gonna put up with your kangaroo pouncing, baby, all on him, all on his back, baby, boxing him to sleep. He was gonna put up with all of that for a credit, baby. That's all he wanted. And so Courtney didn't understand that. So Courtney was like, okay, all right, um, good riddance. Have a good day. So they went their own separate ways, baby. And we probably gonna see them again to the maybe to the end of the season, when they come back, for the review, or, the end of the season show that they always come back on. So, yeah, girl, that's going to be the episode, baby, for this one right here. Courtney and Nick are no longer on the show. We ain't going to see no more abuse from Nick. Ain't being abused no more. Courtney is done abusing and pouncing. She can go back to pouncing over there in the Australian outback, huh? Her mama can go there, pounce on who they was pouncing on before the show, and we can move on. I think Nick got his credit, so kudos to that. Hopefully he will. And and that's it on it. Okay, so y'all catch me on the next one, baby, because we're gonna be discussing the next couples. What red flags did we see? Because definitely saw a lot of red flags here. Courtney showed her red flags all in her back and her shoulders, baby. Number red flags. Okay, so and that came across. She was very hard. She was very um very, and I also want to let it be known that Courtney really wanted what Adam was giving to Marissa. Adam was over there giving Marissa the business, and Marissa just dealing with it because Marissa is very feminine. But Courtney really wanted Adam, even at the end when it was time for them to go home and they was hugging their little friends. And then she gonna go over to Adam. I want a pickleball match. I want this. I want that. And he was like, "Yeah, sure, reviving. Yeah, so yeah, we'll get that done." But who gonna be your partner, baby? Your mama? Cause you gonna kick Nick to the curb. But she don't really want no partner. She want Adam to be the partner, baby. She hoping that her and Adam can link up. And I'm thinking, Courtney, baby, you ain't Adam's type. I could already tell you that now. Adam wants somebody that's active, yes. Adam, and if y'all don't know who Adam is, honey, this Adam right here. Adam over there running Marissa raggedy, okay, on jet skis, pickleball matches, pickleball camp, baby. He running her to the 10th degree. But Courtney says she don't mind being ran to the 10th degree. But it's just like, baby, you got too many muscles for Adam, baby. You too buff. You too rocked out, baby. You too jacked, okay? That would not work for him at all. And so you might as well go ahead and just go over there and find whoever you need to find because Adam ain't the one. Okay, he want a feminine woman that act like a man, that can AKA perform like a man at high performance. He don't want anybody who look like they can perform like that. Okay, he's very much attracted to Marissa because her feminine body and stuff like that. But he do want somebody that's very masculine in their activities, not in their back. Okay, your back is very masculine. That would not work for Adam. And I also want to bring up when it came to Courtney. Courtney also took Nick back to her family because she wanted her family to pounce on him too. And she pretty much said that she was like, y'all let him have it. When he went to the bathroom, let him have it. And they was asking questions. Nick was answering with his little silly little self. He was showing his little personality, being awkward, being cute. Nick is not harmful at all. He don't deserve to be treated like Courtney treated him. When everybody at the end told Courtney, like, we like him. Okay, the everybody, the mama with her jack shoulders, the daddy, daddy very handsome, and then her sister and her sister husband, like, yeah, we like Nick. Courtney was mean mugging all of them, baby. Courtney was upset. Courtney was pissed because she wanted them to jump all over that man back, baby, and jump all over that man's head and put their knee on his neck. She wanted all of that, and they wouldn't give it to her. So Courtney, I just feel like Courtney just don't need no good man. Okay, she used to toxic, and I think that's what she wants until she gets some therapy and some help, girl. So but she really want Adam because she know Adam needs some therapy too. But Adam ain't going for that Australian outback back, you know. So that's gonna be the video, girl. I went over because baby Courtney, just it's just so much with Courtney that I just could not fit it all in one video. But you know, good riddance to them. They're not going to be on the show anymore. Nick is no longer going to be abused, and Courtney is no longer going to be jumping all over that man for fun, baby, pouncing on that man like he a trampoline. Okay, with her jack shoulders and her jack back. She's not gonna be able to do that. Okay. So hopefully she can get back over there to the outback, baby, get whatever substance that she was jacked up on, and baby calm her nerves. All right. So catch me on the next one, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.